Welcome back. We are here for part 2 of episode 5 of Sip on This. Man, I feel like I shouldn't even be have to saying this anymore, or having to be saying this. But if this is your first time here, welcome to Sip on This. This is my live stream talk show. Cool, positive conversations with cool people. And we just finished up with Jason Peters, good friend of mine, who is he's always doing 1,000 different things, and he's right now he's working on some type of investigative story that he said he couldn't talk much about. So go follow him. He's linked in my story and everything like that, and keep up with what he's doing. It's cool stuff. Next up, we've got Shane Lydon, one of my oldest friends, and I love this because everybody's got such different things going on, but it's all cool stuff that they're stoked about. And so we're going to dive into that with Shane. Him in now. Anyone that's here, what's up? Glad that you're spending your morning or early afternoon, wherever you are, with us right now. Shane Hopper. Here he is, baby.
Yo,
what up, dude? What's going on, man?
Long time no see, buddy.
Yeah, right? To give some context to anybody that's watching, Shane and I have been friends since what, like,
I want to say like
fourth grade?
Yeah, like fourth grade. I think that's when I first started coming to your birthday parties.
That's what counts, dude. So what's up, dude? How are you? How's your week? What's your week looking like right now? Are you working still or what?
Yeah, so because of, well, first off, our honorable colleague who just left, I take that to offense that you say dumb people like country music.
Hey, he didn't say exactly that. He tiptoed around just enough.
Yeah, so right now work's been kind of slow, to be honest with you. A lot of my clients, so little synopsis to anybody who doesn't know, I work in manufacturing. I'm a lean manufacturing consultant. So essentially, if you make something, I can try to limit costs and try to optimize operator skills and things like that. So I do a lot of observations. I do a lot of interviews with people to try and understand what they're good at, what they're not good at, areas that they're comfortable in order to try to be more effective for the company itself. So right now, a lot of our clients, they kind of, not so much down, but they're using their buildings as storage facilities for Amazon, believe it or not, like as warehouses. So
really?
Yeah, they only have like maybe 4 or 5 people that are working, and then they're renting the space to Amazon because people are still ordering stuff online, but not allowed to be working. So other than that, our defense contractors are still in business. So I'm working like 1 day a week just on my whole business. Like tomorrow I have a client, but other than that, it's pretty slow. So I had a lot of free time to do whatever I really wanted to do, honestly.
Well, so dude, tell me about that though, because anyone that's watching, like I said, well, I'm getting feedback here. Hang on. Try clicking your volume down a couple little things.
Is that better?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Use, like my keyboard, I can set my
Works
phone.
for me.
Probably just echoing off of that. All right.
So yeah, to anybody who's watching, I always ask everyone that comes on in their scheduling thing, like, what's something you're stoked about? And Shane, you said that's because of all that downtime and everything, you're just you're like tinkering more than you ever have with Johnny. So good old cousin Johnny. Anybody that's watching, Shane and Johnny are the inseparable pair, always working on some type of mischief. But dude, tell me, like, I know that you've always talked about, like, oh, I want to like, you know, get my own. Your dream is to like just basically work on cool toys and get paid to do it and do cool stuff. So you said that you are trying to like get the YouTube brand up or something like that. Like, dude, paint the picture for me. Because I mean, we obviously talk all the time, but like, we haven't had one of these like drinking and talking business conversations in a while.
Oh, by the way, I got my new Monopoly glass. It's got a spinny dice in it. Got Yeah.
Dude,
It's
that's sick.
caramel macchiato creamer. I just tried it for today. I got it specifically for this, so it's not bad.
I'm flattered. Cheers, man.
Cheers. So yeah, I'm not versed in the whole editing side of videos or anything like that. I'm gonna be honest, I'm using just basic iMovie, and I took old clips from what me and Johnny had when we were riding, or if the girlfriends went with us, things like that, to just trying to make like an interesting video. And I threw it up on YouTube. It's a piece of shit video, but other than that, like Johnny and I were trying to pretty much brand ourselves as it's not DIY, but it's just like basic things that, you know, like inspection stations, they'll screw you over for your brakes on your truck, or doing an oil change. So like anything that a normal person could do at home with normal tools, we want to try and do like how-to videos and just kind of make it fun. And pretty much what we want our brand to be is like the blue collar kind of people. So Johnny works in carpentry and I work in manufacturing. So the stuff that, you know, kind of makes the country go round, you got to have the people that have, you know, the dirty hands and things like that. So we just want to show kind of like, hey, you know, you can work your ass off Monday through Friday just to have a good ass time on Saturday.
I like it.
That's what we kind of want to brand. But I don't know. We don't know where it's going to go or anything like that. But right now we have a ton of time. So we've been taking a lot of videos. And I haven't really posted anything yet. I'm just trying to edit it that it makes sense. But I have this inner like perfectionism in me, and I know it's not going to be good. So I have a hard time posting it. I know you talk about that a lot. It's like
the struggle, dude.
Yeah, you don't have to be, but like, I don't know, you said in your one video, you're like, just go for it, honestly. Like, just start filming yourself and putting it out there, because at the end of the day, like, you're going to learn from what you're already doing. I just need to get that mentality out of my head of like, all right, now wait until it's really good.
Yeah. Well, dude, here's what I've learned is that's never going to be out of your head. You know, it's going to be just making the decision to, like, consciously to just get over that. Because Honcho's here, oh boy. Dude, like, even with this, I was sitting there thinking, like, if I'm going to do something like this, I'm going to do it right. I'm going to get, like, the capture card and hook up my actual camera and have it, like, multi-stream to all these different things. And I hit a point, dude, where I was just like, fuck it. I just got to start. I just got to, like, because, dude, you build momentum and then you see, like, you in the process of just starting to do it, you see what's working, what's not. Like, I'm picking up on things that, like, okay, maybe this will make more sense to be, like, the thing that I should buy to start doing this better, you know? And so I think with what you're doing, like, you just start putting it out so that way you have some stuff there. And then, like, the next thing that you might do is maybe, like, figure out, like, you're putting them on YouTube?
Yeah.
I would do, like YouTube SEO, because, like, YouTube's great for posting videos for, like, searchability. So if you are putting, like, how-to videos up there, huge market for how-to videos, because everybody's going to YouTube to search, like, how to do blank, you know? And so if you can, like, title things right and put the right description and keywords and tags and all that type of stuff, the probability that you're going to show up when people are searching, like, you know, how to change brakes, just DIY, if you have all that stuff set up right, there's a way higher chance that you're either going to show up in a search or in, like, a related video.
Oh, okay.
And so it's like, you don't need to have this crazy camera and these crazy editing skills. It's like, if you can put the info across in a concise and interesting enough way and just know how to get it in front of people, that's like the first step, really.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's just accepting that, like, I just gotta put this out.
Right.
Because I guarantee you, like, if you're putting actual info in there, like, I know that you and Johnny know, people aren't going to attack you for being like, that camera angle sucked. It's like when I was talking with Jason in the last one, he's like, he doesn't give a shit about if his audio for his podcast isn't top notch, because he's not putting it out for audio engineers. That's not his audience. You know, they might watch and be like, you should have done this and mastered it different. But like the people that are watching or listening rather are listening for what they want to hear.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. I mean, they're not going to be critics when they're going there to just view it. That's, you know, like that's not the main intention.
Exactly. If you can teach them something and they'll know how to kind of do it by the end of the video, anybody that bitches about it is an idiot.
That's true too.
But so like what's how many toys you got now that you were talking about getting a go-kart and doing like an engine swap or something?
Yeah, I think we want to do that. So there's like a go-kart over by one of my roommates' area. So we were thinking about buying an old shitty quad that has a motor that's running in it. I got my welder and everything, and we're going to try and videotape us doing, like, taking the motor out of the quad, putting it in the go-kart, souping it up, doing all that shit, maybe riding around in the streets and just kind of hooning it around. Because at this point, like, who gives a shit? No one, you know, like, I just think that'll be entertaining as hell, even if we get pulled over by the cops. Like, that.
That makes for good video.
Yeah. And not only that, like, we've done so many different rebuilds. Like, we've torn apart, I think, like 5 or 6 toys now, and we've learned all of it just on our own. Like, we dive into it, and if there's one thing that the two of us are good at, it's learning on the fly. So we go, like, I have no idea what I'm getting into here. I'm probably breaking everything that I'm looking at, and I'll probably never get it back together, and I just wasted $1,000. But we're like, screw it, because I have this knowledge now that I can keep on going. So, like, the truck that's sitting in my driveway, that thing's in pieces, and we completely rebuilt that thing, and all we have to do now is connect the electronics of it, and then we're going to sell it. So we also flip bikes too. So, like, we each bought we bought those dirt bikes, and then we sold that as well. So we're just trying to make a profit on that kind of stuff and also have a good time doing it. And it's been working so far. But, you know, the biggest thing that we love to do is we're good at that kind of tactical stuff with our hands. And we just have a blast doing it. And I don't know how else to monetize that. But, you know.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, dude. If you're having a blast doing it already, I feel like that makes it that much, like, easier to monetize. Because a lot of people dive into shit thinking, like, what's something I can do to monetize, like, right off the bat?
Right.
And you're already at a loss when you're thinking that way, you know? So if you guys are just, like, having a good time, here's the thing. If you're having a good time and, like, shooting videos and making them just because you're enjoying it, there's, like, what else are you going to do right now? You're in a better spot because you give a shit about doing it without the payout right away, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah. I think you're in a good spot. Dude, what have you been doing? Like, besides just tinkering and, like, Call of Duty? What have you been doing during, what is this, week 6? I think it's day, like, 43 or something of quarantine here.
43 or 44. I know when I wake up in the morning, I'm working out, just trying to keep your mind clear. Do a few push-ups, get yourself awake, because it's very easy to sleep in till noon if you really wanted to on this. But other than that, I've been going over, my dad just moved into a new house. I've been going over there doing a lot of home improvements with him. And also, like, right now, we're trying to set up a training. So for my actual full-time job, we're trying to set up how we can, like, let's make the assumption that this whole quarantine thing is quote unquote over. How can we get ahead of the curve of bringing one of us into a client to do a training on, all right, well, where do we start now? We're at ground zero. We haven't been making stuff for the last 2 months. What can we do to, optimize all of this stuff? So, short story, like, we want to try and set up a Zoom meeting with a few of different clients to get them talk to each other. That, you know, like, I have a bagel client, and then I have a shipping container client. But if they were to talk to each other and collaborate and say, like, how are you guys getting through this, and things like that, at the end of the day, all manufacturing is the same. It's a material pump. So material comes in, you convert it, and then you send it out to get cash. They're all the same. So you can use all the same ideals for each company. And what we want to try and do is set them up where, you know, maybe there's 10 or 12 of us in a Zoom call, I know it sounds very mediocre, but like if they were to have a conversation with each other of how one is surviving and how another maybe is, you know, they had to lay off employees or something like that. And then we would kind of be the mediators in it and say, look, like these are some of the things that you guys could be doing to set yourselves up for future success once you're allowed to be, you know, open again.
Yeah.
But right now,
Dude, that's
it's
awesome.
Yeah.
What were you about to say though?
So right now it's hard to get in contact. Like, so what we're noticing is a lot of people right now are not somewhat depressed, but it's just like they're kind of laid back, and it's just like, well, you know, I can't really do anything anyway, so I might as well take this time to just be lazy. For lack of better words, that's essentially what's happening. And they're like, oh, well, we don't want to do it this week. Maybe we could do it next week. So logistically speaking, it's hard to get everybody on the same playing field to get in the mindset of, all right, let's do lean manufacturing stuff while we're not really working. So that's the hump that we're trying to get over right now.
Dude, I first off, I love that idea. I think it's awesome kind of having that like digital, like virtual type of mastermind thing. Yeah. Especially when you're bringing people who are, you're right, it's like, maybe it's like the horizontal is the same as everybody's doing manufacturing, but it's all different industries, you know?
Yep.
And I think if you guys are the ones that are facilitating that too, that puts you guys in like a way up spot, because they're like, oh, these guys are now very much proving that they are like, one, that they give a shit about us, and two, that they're like the experts on this. So that just kind of will on your guys' end show like, hey, they care a lot about this. Second thing is like, from what I've seen and just had conversations about, like the longer that people are in that lull of just, I'll just do it later because what's going on anyway right now? Why should I just put my head down and focus on getting stuff done? Like the longer you go during that, the harder it is to get back into it.
Yep.
You know? Oh, wait, you still there? Yeah, there you are. Okay. Yeah, harder it is to get back into it because it's just like you've gone that much longer. Like when you're in a groove, dude, you kind of keep that momentum going. When you stop that, it's like, what are you going to do? Stop until everything kicks back up again? Yeah. Then you're like that much further behind at that point.
And then if you think about it, you know, if everybody's in that lull, there's no actual like kick back into that mode because everybody's waiting on someone else to get into that mode, but no one else is going to do that. So
if you guys are the ones that come with them with like, hey, here's what we're going to do. Here's the day and time and everything. Like, be ready for it. You need this. Yeah. Then maybe that's the kick.
We just want to try and build that momentum or even just the mindset of it. Because right now, pretty much no one's like everybody's enjoying their off time, but you know, it takes 28 days to form a new habit. And this has been 43 days of you wake up, you might have to do some work on your computer, answer a few emails. You don't have to physically get dressed, get in your car and go to work at 6:30 in the morning. So yeah, break a new habit that wasn't intentionally formed.
Dude, I've been putting jeans on like every day because I'm just like, I can't just like sit here and not get out of pajamas and just like then go back to bed later. And I don't know.
Yeah.
Some type of breakup in my day, but.
Throw a tie on a t-shirt, whatever gets you, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Honcho said, Shane, I'll write you an intro track for your videos.
All right, Tyler, I'll do that. Yeah, I'm in for that.
I will say he sent me a track that he worked on yesterday. It sounded pretty solid. So get on early before he starts charging for it.
We might have to break the quarantine rules and hang out and try and figure some of this out.
Socially distanced, Shane. 6 feet apart, and we're all right.
We'll all wear those bubble soccer bubbles and just run into
each other. Just going zorbing with the friends today. Don't mind us.
Yeah. What about you, man? What have you been doing to kind of get through this stuff? I know you started the Sip on This thing, which I think is a really cool idea for networking purposes and stuff like that. And you know, what have you been up to?
I'm trying to think, dude. It's always, I never expect to get like a question thrown back, but I've just been, it's like a kind of a balance, like walking that line between staying kind of productive or like just productive enough to keep that momentum, but then also just like fucking off and doing whatever.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, I've had, what was it? I had like some client work, fortunately. Like I can't do shoots right now, but I just did like those product photos for the winery, which is cool because like I'll get the product and then just do it here in my super fancy setup.
Dude, it looked phenomenal, by the way.
Dude, it came out looking all right. So thank you.
It was phenomenal. I was like, first off, it was very enticing. I want to drink some of them.
Right. It's just sitting here. And like, but no, shit like that. And then I had like another ad creation project for another client, which is cool. So like just little stuff here and there, but like it's enough to make me feel like, all right, I'm not at a standstill right now. So shit like that. And then kind of just like figuring out ways to work on my own stuff, you know, like, all right, what have I maybe been wanting to do for a while or saying that would be good to do, but not doing. Tyler says, got to go get jacked. Be well, boys. There you go, dude. You've got many girls to impress. I'm not gonna name drop here though.
Like after all this stuff, when you know our business side starts to speed up a little bit, I know that you and me had a conversation of bringing you on board to do work with us, and I'm really excited about that. Obviously, you know the intricacies of why that can't happen right now, but that's still anybody who's watching. We're gonna bring Dave in because I've seen a lot of his stuff. He does really good work, and I think he can represent us in a really good way. I'm excited for that moment. Whenever that is, I'm excited for it.
Whenever that is, dude, at this point.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, here's the thing, too, like that I realized doing that last video business card with Brianna. Like, that was so much, like, personality in it, you know?
Yeah.
And that was the most well-received one that I've ever done, which was sick. But I think that's like kind of the cool thing about you and your dad's company, but it's just like you guys personality wise are just like so strong with it. It's just like you walk into a room, you hold a conversation the whole night. But Aaron says you guys were just talking about the music for your videos. That's awesome. You got a friend with it, man. But yeah, I think like that's something that, I mean, we talked about this before too. Like, who else is first off doing video promotion for like lean manufacturing, and second off, who is really leaning into it? Well, leaning into it with like, hey, here's who we are as people, not just like here's what we do, you know.
Right. That's something that we struggle with though. Is I guess, yeah, it's kind of a niche market, but at the same time, we struggle with, is there an actual market for, all the lean terminology and everything? So like a quick summary is it comes from Japan, lean manufacturing, the ideologies and things like that. But we're noticing that at a lot of our clients, it's just, for lack of better words, we're babysitting certain processes. So like right now I'm working with vendor relations. That's not lean at all, but I'm good at talking with certain people. So like General Electric is a customer of this one company, and they can't communicate really well with some of their products and things like that. So I'm the mediator. That has nothing to do with lean manufacturing, but they're using me in that facet.
If the shoe fits, man.
Yeah. So we're struggling with like, is it even marketable? And to a point,
is it like, is that what you start with, or is that more of like an upsell after you already marketed something else?
Exactly. And we don't, and right now it's really tough to get an accurate answer of what the customer really wants. Cause right now, people don't really want anything.
People just want shit to go back to normal.
Yeah. And I honestly think that there's not going to be a normal after this. It's going to be a lot different. People are going to be a little bit, in my opinion, I think people are going to be a little bit more conservative. They're not going to want to, it's going to be like edgy, I think, because then, God forbid, you go to Acme and you see someone without a mask, you go, am I supposed to wear a mask or am I not supposed to wear a mask? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I think people are it's gonna like ride out for a while, and I think it'll be like kind of the people who start going back to like what we used to know normal as will be like the weird ones. Be like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Like you said, it'll be edgy to do that. It'd be like, and then eventually, like people will start creeping back to it. Yeah. But it's weird. It's weird to think about.
Who knows? Well, we're gonna have a banger when it's over anyway.
Oh my god, dude! I just want to barbecue and play Stump. That's all I want.
Yes. I can't wait to play Stump.
Oh, I mean, we could do cornhole socially distant, but we'll figure that out.
We have to all use separate bean bags. We can't
bring your own bag. BYOB. Dude, to spin it to a more positive perspective on it, though, like, when this blows over, what are you looking forward to most, dude? Or, like we said, it's not going to go back to probably the same normal that we knew, but once these things are like loosened up and we're able to like have some semblance of a normal life and go out again, like, what's the first like plans that you've got?
Honestly, it's just, being able to go and do activities without any type of restriction or anything like that. Like right now, I mean, I love fishing, but there's only certain ramps that are open, and there's not a lot of people out and things like that. Just going like to the store and just being like, that's the kind of, it's weird, but that's the kind of stuff I'm looking forward to. And also, just hanging out with my closest friends and things like that, because all we've been able to do is, Zoom call, FaceTime, whatever it is. Yeah. So that's the kind of stuff I look forward to, because, at the end of the day, most people like the whole interaction side of things.
I think that's what's hitting people the most, man. Like, even like, because I've seen people that are like super introverted posting like, this isn't any different from like normal for me right now. But you kind of pick up on like from people's posts that like that interaction to like not being able to have it at all, social interaction, is like wearing people down, like you can only get so far with like a FaceTime.
Yeah. And then not only that, like sports, there's no sports on right now. I cannot wait until, like, there was rumors that hockey was going to come back in July. Like, holy shit, that's usually like the Stanley Cup has already been finished by then.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think one of the big ones is sports, like football, and I mean, it's still, that one's kind of up in the air. But like baseball right now, they should be playing, but they're not.
I know. Well, dude, when this whole weekend with all the different draft stuff, I'm just like, I'm getting real stoked, and I'm like, all right, Eagles, maybe like we've got a chance this year. And then I'm just thinking ahead, like, dude, I hope to God that we're able to like actually have a season go and happen this year. Yeah. Kenzie says, I miss my friends.
Yeah. And that, like, I don't know, when it gets warmer out, maybe going to the beach or going on vacation. Like right now, I was supposed to go to Nashville in the end of June to July. I was supposed to come home on July 4th, but right now it's looking like we're probably got to postpone that. I'm because I was so stoked to go to Nashville. Like that's one of my dreams, and now we probably can't do that.
Yeah, it's rough, dude. My parents, this is the second time that they've had to cancel a planned California trip. So they're just like, I'm taking that angle of like third time's the charm.
Yeah.
But you figure like, yeah, a lot of people are just like thrown out of whack. And I think that's going to be interesting to see the people that just like stop giving a shit, because we're seeing it already, but there's so many people that are just going to be like, well, it's summer. It's nice out. I'll take my chances. Yeah. It's like, okay.
it's gonna get to a point where, like, I see all over, there's groups on Facebook and stuff like that, like how the quarantine is bullshit and things like that. I get it. You're trying to keep, like, you might not have any effect of getting the illness, but you could give it to someone else. So I understand that. And I just think some people are going to go like, screw it, I don't care, I'm going to do whatever I want. And then it could restart this whole thing all over again. It's just so kind of like what Jason said. He's like, yeah, people are led to believe that this is like a hoax or whatever it is. It's not. I mean, it's real. I don't know anybody personally who's had it, but I believe it. I mean, I don't see a reason why it would be like another. I mean,
dude, I get that it's like maybe it's being in certain ways like more hyped up than it is, and I say that with like the most respect to what it actually is, because there's people dying. Yeah. But I know that like just the news has a way to sensationalize certain things and make them larger or more like a headline, more triggering than it should be, And so I know there's plenty of that going on, but it's like I just don't understand certain people that are like, it's a hoax. I'm like, dude, there's like refrigerated shipping containers as morgues right now.
And that's where like that's one.
Not to get too dark with it, but
No, but I mean, yeah, like I'm not a nurse and I'm not in a hospital or anything like that, but I've seen the other end of it real time of like there is people, suffering from this based on my clients. So, yeah. But I don't know. I hope that we can get back to like a normal-ish thing where we can kind of put this on the back burner and say, wow, do you guys remember that 2 years ago when we couldn't touch anybody or go anywhere and things like that, rather than it be like, hey, do you remember what normal life used to be? So
yeah, dude, I've been asking people, and I asked just Jason right before we hopped on, like, what are the silver linings that you're finding from this? Because I feel like everybody is finding their own little positives. So like, what's that been for you? Is it just having that free time to like tinker with stuff, or something else too?
Well, I think it really pulls out like the creativity side of people. So I'm trying to be as creative as possible to keep my mind busy. Because if I sit at home, I'm going to drive myself insane. If it was any other time, I probably would never have the courage to put anything out there on YouTube because I'd be too worried about what other people think. But right now, I'm just like, I'm not working. I'm trying to do as much as I can to build work. You know what? I have an extra 8 hours in my day. I'm going to just say, screw it and go ahead and do this kind of stuff. So the creative side of myself is kind of coming out because of this. Whether that's me working outside or doing the editing side of things. And I'm learning a lot. I mean, it's fun. I actually enjoy, I know you said you don't really like it, but I like editing videos a lot.
God bless you.
I think it's fun when it all comes together.
Yeah. It is cool seeing like where you can piece things together.
Yeah.
Realistically, if I had more of like a process to it or like a rhyme or reason, it would probably be like a better thing.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, that's really cool. And that's a good way to put it, is like, you figure you either just sit around and like go crazy, or you kind of have to get creative with ways to keep yourself busy and productive and entertained. And it's cool. It's cool seeing how that plays out for different people. I'm seeing people post like their drawings and paintings that kick ass that I never knew had any like artistic skill. I'm like, what? Where was that? Like, post that more.
Yeah.
But
I think it's forcing people to entertain themselves one way or another, because you can only watch so many Netflix shows before you get bored out of your mind. You can only play so much Call of Duty, and you can only FaceTime so long before it's like, I need to do something other than sit in this chair.
Yeah.
So what about you?
I don't know. I guess kind of similar, because I'm doing this, and this is something that since like the beginning of the year, I've been telling myself, like, I want to start some type of like podcast or something. And it was like or paralysis by analysis, where I was like, well, maybe I should do this. Maybe I should do this. I can't do this until I have this thing. And just circumstantially, I was like, fuck it, let's just go for it. Yeah. And, it came together. So stuff like that. it's I'm just kind of like taking time to talk with people too, because like extroverted, I rely on that like conversation with people, you know, and so it's been cool just like having conversations with people who I'm usually like touch and go with, you know, and just like everybody's in the same boat, you know. So people who maybe are normally like super busy or have like a bunch of different things going on throughout their day now don't. And so there's more time to like have that conversation and stuff like that. I think it's just things like that. Everybody's kind of taking time to like slow down, and slowing down doesn't mean stopping, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of cool. Is like people are still doing their lives, but also like figuring out what else they can fit in with all the new like free time they have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And like Jason said, it's like if there's people that you haven't had any contact with since like the beginning of all this, probably don't give too much of a shit anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like finding stuff like that out. Yeah, it's cool. It's interesting. But what fuck, I was just gonna ask you something I can't even remember. This brain's going a mile a minute, but yeah, I don't know. I'm sure I'll think of it and then I'll just like actually text you. But dude, that's all I've really got. Is there like any other cool shit that you've got going on that you that you're like thinking about or like haven't started yet, but maybe like you're still trying to figure out how to work it into your quarantine schedule or anything?
No, I mean, there's only so many like hobbies and things like that you can do. As of now, no, I don't. I wish I did. I don't know. Maybe we could work on a podcast or something. That'd be kind of fun.
God, the directions that could go. Especially if we loop in the rest of the friend group.
Yeah, that's true. Jesus.
Well, dude, let me ask you this: for anybody who's watching and maybe is kind of struggling to get done or get started what they have been wanting to get started, even with all this free time, like what's your one little like nugget or tidbit of information that they might be able to take and run with?
Ooh. So you're talking about people who want to go ahead and do something, but they just haven't yet?
Yeah, like, you know, you said you and Johnny have been tinkering, and then like you put up a YouTube video. You never would have done that, but you figured now you can. So, you know, I'm sure there's people who they've had things that they wanted to do, but they're still holding back for whatever reason. Like, what's your one little bit of info for them about all this that maybe they can get over that?
My thing I always tell myself is, what's the worst that can happen? So me and Johnny found that kind of stuff is entertaining to us. So we posted, it was like a music video of Rascal Flatts song of us just riding around and doing hood rat stuff. So my thing I always say to myself is, what's the worst that can happen? And anybody who knows me knows that I say that all the time. So anybody who's struggling with moving on to that next step, find what entertains you, and then just go ahead and do whatever you want with that, because the worst that can happen is X or Y. So for me and Johnny making that video, the worst that can happen is someone shit talks us on YouTube and that I could give a crap about. No one's gonna die, no one get hurt. Like, it's as simple as that. So yeah, that's my expert philosophy on what to do.
I love it. Sweet. All right. Well, what were you sipping on, by the way, dude? What was your coffee get up?
I got about this much caramel macchiato creamer with just regular coffee. I know you drink your coffee black. I don't know how you do that. It's absolutely ass.
Well, dude, I'm very simple, you know? Like, give me something straight. I'll eat food cold. I don't want any type of prep. I was commenting on a buddy's post last night. He had made an old fashioned, and I was like, with like Knob Creek, and I was like, oh man, I've been drinking the Knob Creek smoked maple or whatever. I love it. He's like, oh, you've been making any old fashions? And I was like, nah, man, I'm usually just like right on the rocks, splash of water. He's like, oh, you got to try it. I was like, hey, I like it, but that's like a little too much prep work for me.
Yeah, you do like your whiskey on the rocks.
Dude, my life is just one like wing it situation at a time, you know? So, and that really boils down to things like even drinks. Yeah,
Well,
I don't know, maybe that says something about me, but
what we should do is, you know, for this YouTube thing, if Tyler makes the intro track, you can help us video it so it'll be really like actually good. Then the four of us can if it's good enough and it's entertaining enough, then we could pay you for it, or you know, if it's good enough, then we get ads on it. Like,
I've got this good idea.
That's what you need.
How about we hop on a FaceTime this week, talk about it, and we'll just figure out how we can help you guys start kicking ass with it. We'll just do that.
All right, cool. Sounds
Hell
good.
yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to wrap it up because I should actually probably start doing some stuff that's, you know, work related today. I usually consider 12 o'clock my like, oh, maybe I should start working. But hell yeah, dude. Well, dude, thanks for filling in last minute. I know we had Cole drop off because he fortunately is able to start doing work again. But yeah, thanks for hopping in, dude. Can always count on you. And appreciate actually like hearing about the shit that you and Johnny been doing. And yeah, hopefully if anybody was watching, I know we had like a consistent few people watching like the whole time, which is fucking sick. So anyone that's been watching, appreciate you. Leave a comment if there's anything that stood out to you, or you know, if you're interested in what Shane's doing, give him a follow. Shane, you got to post here more.
Yeah, I know.
Hit him with the YouTube link.
Yeah, I could.
You could. Love you too, Kens. But yeah, all right. Well, dude, I'll hit you up later. And to anybody else that's watching, if this was cool, you liked it, if you want to be on, I have a scheduling link that you can check out. John, just tuning in to keep up the hard work, guys. Appreciate you, man.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah, if you like this, if you want to sip on this with me, either a Monday morning or a Thursday afternoon, let me know. I can send you the link, and we can take it from there. But thank you, Shane, for hopping on. I'm going to hop off now, and enjoy the rest of your day, guys. And I'll see you again Thursday.
Thanks, buddy. Have a good one.
Of course. Peace out.
See you, bud.